Okay.
Hey everyone, I've got Aimee Melaedha Jarboe from Shards Online. She's part of the community management team and works hard on keeping us all happy.
Hello.
Um, so I'm gonna just ask her a few questions, but she's just gonna go over, introduce herself by herself, and she's going to tell us a bit about what she does. And maybe I can pinch her to tell us some stuff that she's doing, but we don't know. So take it away.
I'm pretty transparent about everything I'm doing, so if you need any more details, you can always talk to me on the forums or in our chat room. But yes, my meet space name is Aimee. In the Shards Online community, I go by Melaedha. And like you said, mostly I'm just kind of in charge of making sure that everything runs smoothly for our backers and playtesters, making sure everybody has the information they need, and just plays nicely with each other. Which you guys are great about, by the way.
Yeah, as far as communities go, we're pretty tame.
You really are. Well, it's great. I mean, there's places that I've worked before where I've had to be a lot more uptight about the rules and like no cussing and don't do this and don't do that and you have to behave this way or you have to speak this language in the forums. And it took me about a month to really adjust to working with the Shards Online team, but it was kind of nice to let go of a lot of that and let people be people and do what they enjoy.
Were you all ready to be like ban hammers and don't do
You
this?
know,
And you're like, no one's letting me be angry.
no. Well, I've had people offer to step up and moderate either the IRC or the forums that, they say they want to, ban people or kind of be a little more rule heavy with that. And I'm like, that's not really the style for this game right now. I'm hoping it won't ever get to that point. 'Cause generally, everyone's been good. We've had a couple cases where people got a little angsty towards each other, and all it's taken is is saying hey let's what is it, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, be excellent to each other.
Yeah, let's just hug it out. Let's
Yeah.
just sort it.
Well, no, you don't even have to hug it out. You can fight it out as long as you don't just like totally talk crap
Yeah.
about somebody.
To be honest, I've been to a lot of forums, game forums and various other gaming related stuff, communities, etc. And you get a lot of rules shoved in your face. Don't do this, don't say that, you can't mention that, you can't mention this. You don't need that on the Shards
Yeah.
community.
Well, if you look at our guidelines too, you're going to find a lot of them are ripped pretty much directly out of two places. One of them being where a lot of our player base does come from, which is Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And the other being from my friend actually runs the Penny Arcade forums, and I have always adored his rules in there because it is mostly just be excellent to each other, don't be
Yeah.
a dick, and I when I came to him and I was like, look, I get to make guidelines for a place that's going to be so much looser on these particular do's and don'ts. I said, can I steal rules from you? And he goes, well, I guess I'll have to let you, but the only thing that's copyright is the cussing.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, overall I think we've got quite a good community. No one argues too much and usually
No.
healthy debates.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really like. I like people talking to each other and even disagreeing with each other, because frankly, if everyone agreed, we really wouldn't have a lot of conversation happening.
We would have some game clones, we'd have some everything clones, rule clones.
Yep. It would just kind of turn into this circle jerk about how great everything is, and honestly, that gets kind of Stepford after
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, yeah, like I had somebody that will sometimes be like, oh my gosh, this person seems unhappy with the direction such and such is taking. Are you going to delete that thread? And I'm like, no, I'm not really a fan of that, because they're talking about that because they care.
Yeah.
And I am thrilled that somebody cares enough about our game to disagree with us.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason they're supposed to go to crowdfunding. You get what people are are interested in the concept, but they also have, I suppose, expectations, and
Well,
you
they're
have
having
to,
to put a lot of trust in us, and
yeah,
that's hard.
yeah. Well, I'll just the whole point is you get involved, you give your ideas, and whether they're taken up or not is a different story. But
Yeah.
that all depends on the individual development team. But what's great is all the ideas that, for the most part, all the ideas with Shards Online that anyone has can be implemented at some point, because you're going to be able to make your own,
Right.
rules and everything. So for the most part, there's not going to be much to worry about there.
Right, right. Because if somebody is unhappy with the way we take the game, well, they can just make
Change
their
it.
own server, or yeah, or find somebody's server who runs it in such and such a way. Definitely.
So yeah, that's definitely a bonus.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we're shrugging off people's suggestions.
No, no,
Definitely.
no.
Um,
Uh,
because yeah,
it's great. It's, I think found a way around the whole. You basically almost pleasing everyone. Is basically what you're doing. That one rule that
Almost.
people say you can't do, you're almost getting there.
Well, it's like, I mean, you've been on our forums, there's a lot of the traditional MMO arguments you see cropping up on there, and we'll try to step in and go, guys, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be either or, we have a lot of variation here.
Yeah,
It's a lot to wrap your mind around. Like, it took me probably a good 2 weeks after I got on the team to really understand the possibilities of all this, of what we could do with everything.
that brings us
So I
on
totally
to the
get
next
it.
question, actually.
Uh-oh,
Uh,
my clairvoyance.
how did you get involved with Shards Online?
Oh, well, funny story.
I like funny stories. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of funny stories.
So the last couple years, I've kind of gone back and forth with, taking some community management and marketing contracts for video game companies. And I was actually a journalist for a while too. And then when I was coming off the last game I was working on, my friend who wrote it massively at the time was having like a bi-monthly talk show called Gamer Hangout. And that was kind of, our thing in between gigs that we were doing. And one day I randomly get a LinkedIn invite from Supreme, from Derek. And I sent him a message and I was like, "Hi, you're really cool. Why'd you add me?" And he said, "Well, I was looking for RuneScape videos and I found one of your Gamer Hangout videos and I watched it, and then like a couple others, because it was like, wow, this girl really knows what she's talking about, and she lives here and she has experience in community management." He was like, "We kind of have this game we're working on, and would you like to see it?" I'm like, goodness, yes.
So you were headhunted.
I guess so.
That's
Well,
nice
it
to know.
worked out. It worked out because one reason I was so excited to work on the team was because one thing that's kept me in MMOs, or I mean even in single player gaming for a while, has been modding.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I used to do a lot of UI work with World of Warcraft for my own stuff, and the way I got started in that was like a decade ago, or more now, I guess, playing Morrowind. And when they shipped Morrowind, they shipped it with a like content editor, a modding program, really. And that's where I fell in love with, I can never remember how to say it out loud because it's one of those things you always see written for so long. The guar, that it's like a pack animal, it's like a lizard thing.
Okay.
And I just absolutely fell in love with this thing and would mod them to do different things in the game with me. And coming to Shards Online, our art director, Chris, was actually the person who animated those in Morrowind.
Ah, okay.
So I was like, this is all your fault. So it's kind of awesome. I fangirled quite a bit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Always
And then
nice
I
to
calmed
build
down. And then I calmed down and we got going.
That's good. It's
It was all very
nice.
serendipitous.
Yeah, you get to meet someone you're a fan of. It's always good. And
Oh yeah. Well, Derek's wife too, Chrissy, she was a community manager like on EVE Online and an Ultima Online.
Yep.
And that was actually probably the most nerve-wracking thing I had to do because I interviewed with Derek. I met him and interviewed with him, and we got along great. And he's like, I've run you past everybody else in the studio. I'd love for you to meet them, but the one you have to, uh, you know, actually interview with is my wife, and she's been a community manager for so long,
Yeah.
and it was intimidating.
I mean, when I played Ultima Online, that's kind of how I sort of found Shards. I played it since I was 13, just about 13. And at the time I wasn't so into who was the developer and who's this, but as I got into it and everything and started speaking, and it's nice to actually be able to speak to those who helped create a game that was a huge part of my life. I mean,
Oh yeah.
as much as you don't want to admit it, it really is. These kind of games do take over, and it's quite a big thing. And I've got friends that I met through Ultima, and to think that now I'm sort of chatting away to
Well,
people who helped make that is quite interesting. It's like meeting a movie star in a game related sort of thing, if that makes sense.
oh totally. I'm on the side. I blog a little bit, and one of my friends is actually a fantastic blogger, and he came up with this thing that we all kind of tried to do this last summer about what are 15 games that really influenced your play style or even really your whole life. And, as we're going through and we're listing these games, at first narrowing down to 15 can be really hard. And I'm looking at all of these and going, oh my gosh, there are things that I played when I was like 7 or 8 that we would download off the BBS and, all this like 3 megabyte software that
Yeah.
took 24 hours to download. And, things that really shaped my entire outlook on life. Like I can totally blame a lot of the hobbies I have today on like where in time is Carmen Sandiego. That one was a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
Myst, that was a massive influence. Stuff like that not just in gaming, but it really helps you solidify your character and your outlook on life.
Oh yeah, it is crazy. Just no one likes to really admit how much it does influence them,
Oh,
but
totally.
but it does. It's hard not to.
Well, everything you take in influences you. Everything you watch or read or talk about, even what you don't do, will influence. It influences your relationships with other people.
Oh yeah,
It's,
I know for a fact. Ultima Online caused some contention in my house with the wife
oh no.
in the past, so because we've been together for a very long time. So it has in the past caused some issues, especially when she was playing
Oh.
as well. So I only had one computer.
Oh no.
Um,
Yeah.
We would we'd watch a movie while the other's playing and then swap.
Yeah, I don't think we could do that. I love my husband very much, but we have to have separate computers and separate game accounts
Yeah.
for the sake of the marriage.
Yeah, totally. So, well, that kind of answers question number 3 is what drew you to a game like Shards. It's just
Oh yeah,
people
modding.
and modding, the people in modding.
Yeah, well, I hadn't even, there wasn't really a community when I came on. There was an email list, and there weren't forums or Kickstarters or anything quite happening yet. And but definitely the modding, the team, just how passionate everybody is about it. You kind of have to. You know
Yeah.
how indie gaming is. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to get very far.
No, yeah,
It's a labor of love.
it is. It's, I suppose it's like a lot of things. You always want to make money out of your passion, your hobby. And for a lot of people who start these kind of things, it does begin as a hobby. Trying
Yeah.
out these programs, and then you look at people like Supreme and Tibnet. I suppose they love what they do, or else they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
you don't start
He's
something. You don't start a project like that unless you love it.
yeah, he's pretty much exhausted his resources in making this happen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um. So, and you've also kind of, suppose, answered this one as well. Are we a
Uh,
hard community to manage?
no, no, no. You guys actually aren't, and like I said, we've really not had many problems. I haven't really had to step in very often. Everyone's great at when they do get to the point of losing their temper. They've come to me privately, which is fantastic. Because I would much rather somebody, if they need a punching bag, I will be there. I would rather it be me than somebody else.
I can't say I've ever noticed any issues. I've never witnessed um, anything that gets too bad.
You've been there for it, but
What?
it's gone private, and that's always been one of my big things. I used to joke when I was a guild leader that it's not drama unless it was done as public as possible. I was like, you can have conflict, you can not get along with people, that's fine. But when you throw a fit in front of everybody
You're doing
and
it for the
attack
publicity.
somebody, yeah, exactly. That's when I really have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And when you do things, like there are people sometimes who they really want to be helpful, they really try to be helpful, but the way they come across just shuts down conversation instead of helping it. And that's when I draw the line too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's good to hear that you consider us an easy community to manage.
Knocking on wood over here.
Say that again.
I said I'm knocking on wood over here.
Oh.
Throw salt over my shoulder.
Um. Next sort of thing to talk about is what's it like working with the rest of the team?
Well, it's a little intimidating because everybody's kind of ridiculously talented and, have these really big video game histories. So that was a little intimidating at first. Like I said, the biggest one was Adita, Chrissy, getting over the shakes from working with her.
Yeah, starstruck.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to work with somebody who's been doing this on some of the biggest games ever.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So I was like really scared to make any decisions at first.
Oh, I bet. Questioning yourself.
Yeah, a whole lot. I've relaxed a little bit over the last few months. Yeah.
That's good.
Good for me and good for them because
if
I'd kept going, it wouldn't have been fun to work with.
On the bright side, you don't notice that, coming across as you're working away.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, yes. Oh, yeah, over here shaking a lot of the time, worried I'm going to mess something up. Not so much anymore.
Cool. And
but, the team's great.
What are the bosses like? Are they mean, hardworking?
Oh, standing over me with a whip, telling me to put my nose back to the grindstone. No, it's great. I mean, how many jobs can you have? Like, I've had a little bit of issues with sickness where I basically was off the radar for almost 3 weeks. And, we step in and support each other and help. Logris took over a lot of stuff. Making sure everybody on the forums was taken care of, and they're just kind of fantastic. It's kind of like our little video game family. This is my guild.
That's good. It's nice to hear. So I'm guessing I was going to ask you what your favorite feature of Shards Online is. I'm going to say modding is possibly your favorite.
Possibly just the potential in that. Actually having a game built from the ground up, everything, the game systems, everything made for modding. It's great. I also like that playing a healer is viable in PvP because that's actually kind of hard to find in a game.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen in the public playtests a little bit that Supreme and I kind of go after each other a little bit, and that's because from the very first night that I got to play the game with the team, we had a PvP competition, and I ended up like pretty much main healing for our team. It was like a 4 versus 4 kind of thing, And my team, we kept wiping them out every single time. And they're like, oh, healers are OP, healers are OP. Well, then the next time we did that too. And then we kind of kept doing it. So I think during the first Kickstarter was the first time Supreme really got to kill me. So he was like running around crowing about it. I don't remember if that was during one of the internal tests or during one of the public ones.
I don't remember. I for the first Kickstarter, I couldn't make all of the public tests. I think I made all bar one of the second Kickstarter.
Yeah, I really have fun with this PvP.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I wasn't a huge fan of PvP during Ultima Online and stuff. I never really did it. But I don't know why. I think it's just I like the simplicity of it. It's not overcomplicated, and if it did get more overcomplicated, it can not be overcomplicated if you choose it.
Yeah. Well, there's something really refreshing in playing a game like that where you get better by playing how you like to play.
Yeah.
And that makes it kind of great because like I tend in all the games I play and even in my like work relationships and life relationships with people, I tend to be the support. I like not so much doing the strict healing, but the buffing, debuffing, crowd control, party support. So it's kind of great to be able to play that. So, if you'll see me on there, I'll be doing a lot of teleports to stun.
Yeah.
and healing like that and coming in and, whacking people sometimes. If they could give me some kind of other disabling spell, I would be all over that.
So we obviously saw the end of the Kickstarter campaign live stream, and after the 3 days of PayPal, it came to a little over 109,000. So I could guess roughly what the reaction from the team was, but can you give us some actual maybe quotes or things that happened? Was the after party messy or?
No, I mean we haven't really. We all went out for lunch the next day with our families to kind of have a little celebration. So it wasn't necessarily messy. It was pretty kid friendly actually.
That's it. I'm not a big fan of messy, but I was just curious.
Oh yeah. We are planning an after party at some point, but frankly, we're working too hard to have an actual after party right now.
So with the successful campaign and everything, does that mean that obviously it was so to get to alpha, and alpha is aimed to start spring 2015. Does that mean I know before you said a lot of you are working part time on it because you have other jobs, etc. Does that mean there's going to be able to be more time to spend on it?
Well, there's some people that got to go full time on the game, and I know that the extra money from Kickstarter is definitely going to help towards getting additional people who can at least work part time.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, at some point we're going to have to repost the development roadmap just because the stretch goals did, change around some of the features of when they're going to be hitting. They're going to be coming in a little sooner now, so we'll be getting a new one of those up, before too long.
Cool. And what was your favorite stretch goal that was met? And what's the stretch goal you're disappointed wasn't met? That's just a question I added in there.
It's like you're asking my favorite child. Hold on a second. Because I actually have to look up all the goals to make sure that I'm thinking of the right one.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. Right, yeah, found them.
I'm still scrolling. Did we not explain them on the page? Oh my gosh, okay.
It's on the Kickstarter page.
Let's see, we did get emotes, we got fishing and cooking, permadeath rules, story editor toolkit, and additional map.
Yep.
I think, oh. It's actually kind of a toss-up for me on there between the story editor toolkit and, surprisingly enough, the permadeath rules.
Oh. See, for me,
Is
I quite like the additional map.
ah, I was
And
very glad that the undead dungeon was voted as the additional map.
yeah, that'll be cool. And the emote animations. I'm quite a fan of emotes and things to really give you the ability to interact. You don't necessarily have to type, to
Yeah.
wave.
That's a good one too. The one I was disappointed about not being able to get in earlier was probably the spell crafting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that would have been pretty awesome to have in by alpha.
So I'm guessing, the goals that weren't reached, they are planned, but they just
Yeah,
won't be there
well,
for alpha.
if you look at all the goals that are on the stretch goals here, they're all on the development roadmap.
Yeah.
They're all in there, and so at some point, a lot of them were things that were originally planned for either later phases of alpha or in beta. That we knew that with the resources we could move up. If we could get a little help with that.
That's good. So is there, moving on, kind of going along the same lines, is there anything that you've helped push into the roadmap or the eventual finished copy of the game? Was there anything you thought, I want that, and they'd be like, and you'd be like, no, do it.
Um, I think probably the thing that Supreme was gladdest that I stopped complaining about was having something other than that one male character to play.
Oh yeah. So you kind of
So,
you were
yeah.
we got you to thank for hassling him to get a
No,
female
no.
character.
I didn't. I don't think you have me to thank for that because that is something he really, really wanted to do. But that's
Uh,
probably. I think I probably made a point of mentioning that quite often.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember when that first was available in the public playtest. I did have a go.
Yeah, it was awesome because additional characters weren't supposed to come in for a while, so
I think
some of our artists had to work really hard extra on that.
I thought the model for it being relatively quickly added was very good. I quite liked it. Um. So what do I think? One thing I was wondering, is there going to be any more round tables, discussions like we had? Remember being up till 3 in the morning?
Yeah. I would very much like to do that, and as we're coming out of the Kickstarter, with the Kickstarter ending right before a holiday, things are still kind of extra wild. We're trying to reestablish our equilibrium, and once we get back into the swing of development a little more, then yes, definitely, I want to have more roundtables. We're just not really. We don't have everyone settled yet where I can put up a schedule for that.
Yeah. The one thing I loved was when you did the dev jam.
Yes.
That was awesome. And that's when the Killer Bunny was created, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
I thought that was great in that one particular part when Supreme created something and he was just so desperate to show it, he had to put it up on screen now. And I just thought that was like, seeing that genuine act of excitement from him, from creating something, and he just had to show everyone, and it just so happens we were doing a live stream. You could imagine if we weren't doing a live stream, he'd be jumping around, the room, go, look what I did, look what I
Let me
did.
tell you, that is exactly what it's like working with him because he'll do that, or he'll call me. I'll be at my day job, and they'll call me and be like, "Guess what I just did?" And I'll be like, "That's awesome! Can I tell people?" He's like, "Oh, well, not yet. Except I may have told everyone in IRC already."
So I won't take up too much more of your time.
Oh,
But,
good.
Today we all got emails. Everyone who's a backer via Kickstarter or the PayPal backing got an email to say that we could amalgamate our sort of and set up our dashboard things for Shards Online on the website.
Right.
And you can link your forums to to that account, and if you are in alpha, pre-alpha, etc., you have to accept the invite to that. Yeah.
Yes, because
Okay.
there is an NDA this time for the closed testing.
So no more videos from me.
No, well, we will still have open play tests
Okay.
at some points, and you'll be able to do open videos for those. It's just we're trying to pick up development a little more. So sadly, that means not being as open with the playtest as we were.
No, that's understandable. But while this interview is going on, people will be watching footage from the last public playtest, which was just before Christmas.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to be showing. The sort of day and a half, or full 24 hours it was open for. So hope you enjoy that footage. It'll be the last footage for a while. So
No, you don't know that.
Well, true.
There won't be footage from the closed play tests,
No,
but we don't know yet what we'll have otherwise.
I can assure everyone that as soon as there is a public playtest, I will be recording and showing what I'm allowed to show.
Well, like we said, or like I said, sorry, definitely Supreme is really, really excited every time he has something new to show, and he would love to show everybody right away. So I can pretty much assume there's going to be a more open test at some point, so everyone can see an update of the state of the game.
If anyone's going to break the NDA, it'll be him.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Logris.
Yeah,
Logris slips.
I wonder if you can sue yourself.
I don't know.
Sure, there's someone who would try to do it.
Yeah, well, there's we're going to end up in some kind of, really bad video game situation where somebody leaves and then they get sued, and that would just be awful.
But yeah, but thank you for having this chat. It's been fun.
Oh, no problem.
And everyone who hasn't seen Shards yet, should go have a look.
Definitely.
Shardsonline.com. And join the IRC in the forums.
Definitely.
Chat to the team who are on more often than not, especially now that the holiday season's over.
Or chat with the community, who are wonderful people.
Yeah,
and sometimes somehow know more about the game than we do.
Yeah, it's because we tell you guys how to do it. That's why.
No.
But no, I suppose it's a good community. So you should just even if you're just considering looking at the game, come join the community, and I'm sure we can persuade you. But thank you, Melaedha. It's been fun.
You're welcome. It's always great to talk with you.
Yes, and I will. I'll catch you soon. I'll see you on the forums, etc.
Definitely.
Cool. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.